Advising is potentially one of the most powerful parts of the undergraduate experience. It's a time where students sit down one-on-one or in small groups with someone who is really trying to help them think about the meaning of their undergraduate experience, their path through the institution and beyond the institution into a career and into their life. And so advising is a great opportunity to help students think about how the various pieces of their undergraduate experience connect up, how what they're doing in their studies connects to their co-curricular, connects to their work, connects to who they want to be when they grow up.
Every school has, or at least the vast majority, offers advising. Unfortunately, most advising, for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is it occurs usually a week or two before registration. It is focused primarily on an absolutely important and essential role, but an insufficient role. That is, how can you help me get the courses I need in the right sequence at the right time and register? So it becomes primarily a registration process. Advising, in my mind and in others' minds, should be focused on talent development. You go back to John Henry Newman's idea of a university, which he formulated in 1846 at Oriel College in Oxford. It was holistic. We not only focused on students' intellect and their development intellectually, but we also focused on their ethical dimensions of their selfhood and other important things. So when we think about students coming today to a college or university that often has a curriculum that is so complex that even faculty can't always figure it out, then one of the things that advising can do that is incredibly important is help students establish pathways to success. And when you shift from kind of an enrollment-oriented registration model to an educational planning model, then you get back to this question of what really matters.
One way to enhance the advising experience for students is to set the expectations, make it clear to everyone involved that this is more than just selecting courses. Course selection is important, but it's a means to an end. The end of advising is an excellent undergraduate education. So how do we help students understand, how do we help advisors understand that the job they have together is to maximize student learning, maximize student growth from the undergraduate experience?
High-impact practices suggest that a lot of out-of-class experiences, such as undergraduate research, internships, practicums, add a lot of educational value to the student experience. But what are the pathways and the expectations that impel me to think about that at certain times? So schools that have really become effective in academic advising have come up with degree maps that aren't simply, I take these courses in this sequence in my major to achieve this kind of four-year degree. They begin to look at what are things too important to miss in my major. Academic clubs, a research with a faculty member, an overseas international experience. And so that becomes part of my planning process. So my advisor shifts from kind of the enrollment registration specialist to the guide on the side, to the mentor, to the provoker, to the big question person that's saying, well, why haven't you thought about this? Do you realize that people that want to go on to med school really find this to be an incredibly important part of that process of understanding? And so I think more and more schools can use some really incredibly important technological tools to help students together move with them towards things that they want to go to. Dick Light, years ago, when he wrote a book called How to Get the Most Out of College, said, academic advising is the most underestimated yet important part of the undergraduate experience. So we need to spend a lot more time on making it educationally effective.
An interesting example of advising is St. Olaf College in Minnesota, where it's a small liberal arts college. Students at St. Olaf are assigned a faculty mentor their first semester, and they keep that same mentor all 4 years, no matter what their major ends up being. The core idea here is that your advisor's job isn't simply to walk you through the major and through your curriculum. It's to understand who you are as a student and who you want to be after you leave the college, and to help you make those transitions. So your advisor may not be able to answer all the questions you have about particulars of a major, but students can reach out to faculty in their majors to get those questions answered. This 4-year advisor helps really understand the student in a different way.
We should be very clear about what we want academic advising to comprise. We need an operational definition of academic advising that is shared throughout the institution so that everybody doing this has some commonly agreed upon understanding of what this is supposed to involve. And ideally, it should involve more than simply scheduling. It should involve supporting students in making appropriate choices that grow out of the context of some kind of relationship that's respectful and mature and helpful. Secondly, advising should include some clearly thought out criteria for who performs that role. And it should not be a role categorically assigned to all faculty, for example. There are some faculty that shouldn't be doing it, don't want to do it, aren't good at it. And some places, of course, insist that all faculty do it. I would say that's a mistake. You have to prepare the people who do this. They need certain development experiences. It's a complex process. The mastery of information that you need to advise students appropriately is very, very challenging, and that information is changing all the time. So advisors need to be continually supported, professionally developed, informed, etc. Advising also needs to be evaluated, both the role of individual advisors, but also advising systems and advising units if your institution has a center that does advising. So evaluation and assessment is critical. In addition, some kind of reward for this behavior is critical. We hear a very common refrain that there are no rewards for this. And to the contrary, if we spend a lot of time at this, it takes time away from those things we get rewarded for. That's very counterproductive. So there needs to be some rewards and incentives.
As a faculty or staff member who's working with students, I think one of the things I need is a clear sense of what my role is. Am I helping students understand their courses? Am I meant to be doing more than that? And if I'm meant to be doing more than that, I need support and I need training to understand what that is and something about who my students are and how they're experiencing the university, how I might expect them to experience the world as an 18-year-old, as a returning veteran, as a single mother, as whatever they happen to be. I think advising is a really powerful opportunity for me to learn about my students, to understand the university in new ways, to see the world through their eyes a little bit, and help me see what they value, what they find most powerful, what they find most interesting, what they find most engaging, so that I can improve my own teaching and so I can help to improve the university.